Nicola's father is Nelson Peltz. You can even see Brooklyn in a picture here in the Google search. And Nicola and Elon Musk. He's worth $1.6 billion.
Nicola Peltz is reportedly getting $1 million a month from her dad, Nelson Peltz, which sounds like a ton of money, but remember, her dad is a billionaire. So how much does $1 million a month even mean to him? And how did he get so rich that even the Beckhams look budget in comparison?
How's married life treating you guys?
Oh my God, it is so much fun. You know, marrying your best mate is just, it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, people always say you should marry your best friend.
It's true. It's the best advice, yeah. We feel like we're on like a play date forever.
For years, the Beckham family looked untouchable. Perfect smiles, luxury parties, designer outfits, and that nothing can shake us glow followed them everywhere. From the outside, it was glossy, controlled, and camera-ready at all times. But now that polished image, it's cracking wide open, and the tension behind the scenes is spilling into public view in a way nobody expected. At the center of this storm stands Brooklyn Beckham, his wife, Nicola Peltz, and her billionaire father, Nelson Peltz. And according to insiders, Nelson was never fully convinced Brooklyn was the right match for his daughter. What started as quiet tension and subtle side-eyes at private gatherings has reportedly escalated into a serious family standoff. The whispers are louder, the distance is obvious, and the mood has completely shifted. We're talking formal letters being exchanged, carefully worded public statements that cut deep, and a chilling silence.
What is my biggest fear?
Well, I know a funny one. He hates square plates and big
Oh my gosh. Not scared of them, but they more like just piss me off. There's one animal that I just don't like.
Oh, I don't know that. Snakes?
I love snakes.
I don't know an animal you know, like.
Don't?
What was this? Was this a hint?
Is that, yeah.
Where there used to be warmth, sources claim conversations have broken down entirely. Lines appear to have been crossed, trust shaken, and the idea of one big happy family feels more like a memory than reality. Now the big question hanging in the air feels impossible to ignore. Did Brooklyn truly carve out his own path, or has he stepped fully into the powerful Peltz orbit? Because behind the glossy Instagram photos and emotional captions about love and loyalty, there seems to be a deeper power struggle unfolding. Some insiders hint that this isn't just about feelings, it's about influence, image, and control. The real shockwave hit when Brooklyn took everything public. In a long, emotional social media post, he openly criticized his own parents. He accused David and Victoria Beckham of twisting the narrative, prioritizing their global brand over family unity, and showing ongoing disrespect toward his wife, Nicola. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't vague. It was direct. This wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It felt like a public line in the sand. Brooklyn didn't soften his words, and he didn't leave room for interpretation. Once it was posted, there was no walking it back, no hiding behind misunderstandings. The message was clear, and the fallout.
That's that big.
A rat?
I don't mind that.
A hamster?
No, I'm not scared of a hamster.
An armadillo? Can say
A what?
no?
An armadillo.
No, you went like this. No, they're kind of big, right?
I hate cockroaches.
Oh, what? The cockroach is not this big.
Some are.
This big.
Yes.
Still unfolding in real time. Later, Brooklyn made it crystal clear he was standing with Nicola. No hesitation, no doubt. And any talk of fixing things with his family, according to him, that door was shut. What stunned people wasn't just what he said, it was how final it sounded. No olive branch. No, we're working on it. No hint of peace talks. Just a cold, sharp break that left fans completely speechless. But here's where it takes another turn. Sources close to the Beckhams claim that emotional post didn't just pop up randomly. Something serious had already happened behind the scenes. Before Brooklyn went public, David and Victoria had reportedly sent him a private letter. Not through Instagram, not through friends, not leaked to the media. It went directly to him. Why go that route? Because by then, communication had reportedly broken down completely. And then came the move that changed everything. Brooklyn had allegedly sent his parents a cease and desist notice, asking them to stop speaking about him publicly and to direct all communication through legal representatives.
How do you feel about expanding the family?
I've always wanted to be a young dad. It's like been my dream. I could have like 10, but her body, whatever, it's her decision.
What do you make of that number?
That is really sweet. I have 7 siblings. So I think he loves being with my family. He has like built-in boy best friends now. So I think he really loves that. But yeah, we really do want a big family. We want to have some of our own kids, and then we really want to adopt kids too. So
That's when this situation stopped looking like family tension and started looking like a legal standoff. That single action reportedly hit the Beckham camp hard. But insiders say it wasn't just the legal paperwork that shook them. It was the belief that Brooklyn may not have acted alone. Sources claim David and Victoria felt there was strong outside influence involved. Fingers quietly pointed toward Nicola and her powerful family circle, especially her billionaire father, Nelson Peltz. The suspicion alone added another layer of strain. As for the letter the Beckhams sent, insiders describe it as emotional, not aggressive. They say it wasn't filled with threats or ultimatums. Instead, it was reportedly personal and full of concern. 2 parents, according to sources, asking their son for reassurance that he was okay and safe. That's it. But instead of calming things down, it seemed to push everything further apart. Only days later, Brooklyn posted a fiery message online, making it clear he wasn't stepping back. He doubled down publicly, and the divide suddenly looked deeper than ever. Brooklyn said he was finally speaking up for himself, and he clapped back hard at the rumors claiming Nicola was running the show. He didn't tiptoe around it either. He called the narrative completely twisted and made it clear he was done staying quiet. It was bold, emotional, and impossible to scroll past. At that point, the Beckham family tension had reached a whole new level. He insisted Nicola wasn't pulling the strings at all. According to him, it was his own parents who had controlled major parts of his life for years. He said he felt boxed in, managed, and pressured, and now he was choosing freedom. He made it clear he had no plans to return to the old dynamic. In his mind, this wasn't rebellion, it was independence. But here's where the split opinions get loud. While Brooklyn says he's finally free, critics point out that his lifestyle since the fallout paints a different picture. Since distancing himself from his family, he's been fully immersed in the Peltz world. He's spending most of his time in their circles, attending their events, and reportedly communicating with his parents only through intermediaries. That detail alone raised eyebrows. Now more people are saying this isn't just emotional family tension anymore. They believe it's turned into a serious power struggle. And one moment keeps getting dragged back into the spotlight: the wedding. More specifically, the first dance that everyone still talks about. Brooklyn claimed that during what was meant to be his special romantic moment with Nicola, his mother stepped in and joined him on the dance floor. He said it caught him off guard and left him feeling embarrassed in front of guests. According to his version, Nicola became overwhelmed and left the room in tears. That single moment didn't just create whispers. It may have marked the turning point in the entire fallout. People remember that night in different ways, but almost everyone agrees on one thing. After that dance, nothing felt the same again. Witnesses say tension in the room was impossible to ignore. The energy in the room shifted in seconds. What was supposed to be a flawless night of love and celebration suddenly split right down the middle. Instead of uniting 2 powerful families, that one dance created a tension people say never really faded. The vibe changed. The smiles looked forced, and insiders claim everyone felt it instantly. Even guests, who tried to stay neutral later, admitted the issue wasn't about music or timing. It went deeper than that. It was about emotions, respect, and unspoken boundaries. What looked like a simple mother-son moment turned into something much heavier. To some, it felt like a quiet clash over space, pride, and influence. And for Nicola, that night reportedly became the turning point. Sources say once the wedding was over, her position was clear. According to insiders, Brooklyn was left facing a choice that no one wants to make: keep the peace with his mother or fully stand beside his wife. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't gradual, it was immediate. And from that moment on, people close to them say his loyalty was obvious. In the end, Brooklyn chose Nicola. No hesitation, no public wavering. Since then, things between him and his family have reportedly turned ice cold. Invitations to family events have allegedly been declined. Major gatherings have been skipped. Communication, according to sources, has slowed to almost nothing. The distance doesn't look accidental. It looks deliberate. Insiders also claim Nicola has drawn firm boundaries. They say she avoids attending events where David and Victoria Beckham are present. Whether that's about protecting her peace or making a strong statement depends on who you ask. Supporters call it standing her ground. Critics call it strategic. Either way, the outcome is clear. Brooklyn Beckham, once seen as the golden boy of one of the most famous families on the planet, now appears almost completely separated from the people who raised him. And that shift? It changed everything. While Nicola continues to shine in the spotlight, the most powerful figure in this entire storm barely says a word. Watching quietly from the sidelines is her father, Nelson Peltz. The billionaire investor and corporate heavyweight operates on a completely different level. He's known for strategy, structure, and control, and people say he never makes a move without thinking 10 steps ahead. According to multiple reports, Nelson was never fully impressed with Brooklyn's career path. Insiders claim he quietly questioned everything from photography projects to cooking ventures to lifestyle branding. They say he viewed the moves as scattered and lacking clear direction. There were no loud public insults, no dramatic outbursts, just a calm, silent skepticism that can cut deeper than open criticism. And when someone with Nelson's level of wealth and influence has doubts, it carries weight, especially when that person oversees the powerful world Brooklyn entered through marriage. That dynamic alone has sparked serious conversations behind closed doors. Then there's the detail that really grabbed attention. Before the wedding, a firm prenuptial agreement was reportedly signed. The terms were said to be direct and protective. If the marriage were ever to end, Brooklyn would not have access to the broader Peltz family fortune. He would only retain what he and Nicola built together, nothing beyond that. For many observers, it wasn't just about finances. It raised bigger questions about balance and leverage. People close to the situation suggest agreements like that are common in high-net-worth families, but they also highlight who holds long-term security. Supporters call it smart planning. Critics see it as a reminder of where the real power sits. And here's the part that makes people uneasy. If Brooklyn's marriage were ever to face serious trouble, the impact wouldn't be small. After distancing himself from his parents, he would reportedly have limited personal fallback options. That possibility alone has fueled nonstop whispers about what his future truly looks like. That's what reportedly keeps David and Victoria up at night. The fear that their son may have placed his entire future into someone else's hands. For any parent, that thought hits deep. Insiders say that concern has lingered ever since the rift began, growing heavier with every headline. Still, people close to the Beckhams insist one thing hasn't changed. The door home is open. Sources claim David and Victoria would welcome Brooklyn back instantly. No conditions, no public apology tour, no complicated demands, just family, simple and direct. But Brooklyn has made his position loud and clear. He says he has no regrets. He believes he finally spoke his truth, and he feels fully justified in stepping away. In his mind, this isn't loss. It's growth. Meanwhile, the rest of the Beckham family keeps moving forward. His siblings are building careers, launching projects, and staying visible. The Beckham brand continues operating at full speed, polished as ever. Yet many observers say there's an obvious gap, one missing piece that people can't ignore. Now, voices from Brooklyn's past are starting to surface. People who knew him before the fame machine, before marriage, before the headlines. Some are quietly questioning whether the independence he's fighting for truly feels like independence. And what's being said lately hasn't been flattering for anyone involved. One of the most unexpected perspectives didn't come from Hollywood insiders. It came from the football world. Brooklyn's former youth coach during his time at Queen's Park Rangers decided to speak publicly, and his words carried weight. He didn't attack anyone. He didn't praise anyone either. He simply shared observations that left people thinking. The coach expressed sympathy for Brooklyn, but not in the way many expected. He described a childhood that looked glamorous from the outside, flashing cameras, elite circles, global fame. But behind that image, he said there was pressure, constant scrutiny, emotional weight most teenagers never experience. According to him, Brooklyn was surrounded by full-time security as young as 14, always protected, always monitored, always in a bubble. Safe, yes, but not necessarily free. That perspective shifted the conversation, because suddenly, this story wasn't just about power or loyalty. It became about identity, pressure, and what freedom really means when you've never lived without a spotlight. The coach said fame and fortune didn't automatically bring balance or peace. Instead, they brought pressure, constant pressure to be flawless. His words pulled back the curtain on the polished Beckham image, and for the first time, people started noticing cracks that may have formed long before Brooklyn ever stepped away. Even for someone experienced in coaching kids from high-profile families, he admitted certain moments felt unsettling. He didn't accuse anyone directly. He didn't name names, but the message landed clearly. Brooklyn's childhood wasn't typical. It wasn't normal. And that difference, the coach suggested, can shape a person in ways the public rarely understands. Growing up without everyday freedom can make someone more sensitive to outside pressure, more open to influence, and more likely to see distance as protection. And here's where the conversation gets uncomfortable. When you peel away the emotion in the headlines, one observation stands out. Nicola didn't step away from her world to enter Brooklyn's. Instead, Brooklyn stepped into hers. She remained close to her family, maintained her circle, and reportedly kept her financial independence intact. Meanwhile, Brooklyn moved further from the structure he had always known. In doing so, he let go of the safety net that came with being part of the Beckham name. His emotional center of gravity shifted. Now, much of his life appears rooted within the Peltz household. That change didn't just affect where he lives or who he sees. It altered the balance of influence around him. And this is what has people talking. Not because anyone is being labeled a villain. Not because Brooklyn is being called weak. But because isolation can quietly reshape dynamics. When one person or one powerful family becomes your primary anchor, their presence naturally grows stronger. Influence doesn't always need loud commands. Sometimes it builds in silence. That's the part observers say deserves attention. Not blame, not outrage, but awareness. Because once a support system shrinks to one central point, the path back to balance can become a lot more complicated than anyone expects. That kind of quiet control can be stronger than anything loud or dramatic. And through all the headlines and tension, one person has stayed almost completely silent. Nelson Peltz. No public denials, no carefully crafted statements, no interviews defending his son-in-law, just silence. But when it comes to Nelson, silence isn't random, it's calculated. People familiar with his world describe him as sharp, disciplined, and not easily swayed by fame or flashy branding. According to reports, he sees Brooklyn as talented, but still searching for direction. A young man with potential, yes, but someone who may still lean heavily on the Beckham name without fully realizing it. And when a billionaire investor forms an opinion like that, it doesn't just disappear. It quietly influences everything happening behind closed doors. That perception may not be entirely fair, but in circles where power, reputation, and legacy carry serious weight, perception can shape reality. And insiders claim Nelson's concerns have grown as Brooklyn's tension with his parents continues to make headlines. Because in elite environments, distancing yourself completely from your family doesn't always look bold. Sometimes it raises eyebrows. In high-profile circles, loyalty and stability matter. When someone publicly cuts ties, it can spark private questions about judgment and long-term reliability. Those whispers don't always stay quiet. They travel. Another layer adding pressure to this situation is Brooklyn's evolving career path. Photography, cooking, lifestyle branding. New projects seem to appear every few months. Each shift brings fresh attention and sometimes skepticism. Public reactions range from support to side-eye, and reportedly, within the Peltz circle, there are serious conversations about focus and long-term vision. While David Beckham built his empire over decades through discipline, consistency, and relentless commitment, Brooklyn's journey has looked more experimental. Some see it as creative exploration. Others see it as a lack of clear direction. And when comparisons like that start floating around, the pressure only increases. Because in families built on legacy and power, every move counts. Every pivot gets noticed, and every decision can quietly redefine where someone stands in the bigger picture. To outsiders, Brooklyn's journey has looked like constant experimentation, bold ideas, sudden pivots, and projects that don't always fully land. From photography to cooking to lifestyle branding, it can seem like he's still figuring out what truly defines him. And for a family like the Peltz circle, known for structure and firm control, that kind of unpredictability doesn't always feel comfortable. The contrast between the two families is hard to ignore. One side is rooted in legacy, loyalty, and long-term endurance. The other is built on results, leverage, and strategic positioning. When those two worlds collide, tension isn't just possible, it's almost guaranteed. Different values create different expectations, and expectations can create pressure. Insiders claim Nelson Peltz has questioned whether Brooklyn adds enough weight financially or strategically within such a high-powered environment. In elite circles, value isn't measured only in affection or public image. It's often measured in influence, discipline, and long-term impact. That's where some observers say the imbalance becomes visible. Meanwhile, people close to David and Victoria Beckham argue this shift in their son didn't happen overnight. They say it developed gradually, small changes at first. Decisions Brooklyn once made independently were reportedly reviewed elsewhere. Conversations began to sound more guarded, more filtered. What used to be private family discussions allegedly started involving legal intermediaries. That detail alone raised eyebrows. Those in the Beckham camp insist Brooklyn once spoke about his family with warmth, not distance. They claim he didn't always frame his upbringing in a negative light. Somewhere along the way, they believe his tone shifted, and the narrative changed. Brooklyn, however, strongly rejects that suggestion. He calls that interpretation completely false. Still, the timeline stands out. The closer he grew to Nicola, the further he appeared to drift from his parents. And here's another revealing detail. It's not just about who's involved, but who isn't. Brooklyn's siblings have remained publicly connected to David and Victoria. They continue sharing family photos, celebrating milestones, and showing visible support without severing ties. That contrast keeps fueling the conversation, because when one person steps away while everyone else stays close, people start asking deeper questions about what really changed and why. Brooklyn's siblings have managed to build their own careers and identities while still keeping the family bond intact. They've grown individually without cutting the cord completely. That contrast has fueled non-stop speculation. Maybe this situation isn't about a widespread family issue. Maybe it's something more personal, something specific to Brooklyn's experience. And that's where the uncomfortable question starts to surface. If the Beckham household was truly as restrictive as Brooklyn describes, why was he the only one to step away entirely, and to do it so publicly? That detail keeps people talking. Some supporters praise him for standing firm and owning his truth. They say he's finally setting boundaries and choosing his own path. But insiders quietly suggest the emotional cost has been intense. They claim the separation hasn't been simple or clean. It's left marks that no camera filter can soften. There are reportedly no more casual check-ins, no relaxed Sunday dinners, no spontaneous family moments. Every reported interaction now sounds formal, measured, and carefully structured, almost like a business exchange rather than a personal connection. And once relationships reach that stage, rebuilding them becomes incredibly difficult. Most high-profile family rifts tend to follow a familiar storyline. First comes the shock, then silence. Eventually, there's a carefully staged reconciliation. But this situation doesn't seem to follow that script. Because this isn't only emotional, it's layered and structural. You have two influential families operating from completely different value systems. Two powerful circles with different expectations about loyalty, independence, and legacy. And right in the center is one son trying to define his identity while navigating both worlds. The longer this continues, the more observers wonder whether the damage is temporary or something much deeper. This feud feels heavy because it goes beyond one awkward wedding moment or one heated post online. It touches on control, influence, trust, and the kind of leverage that can quietly redirect someone's entire future. And that's what makes this story feel bigger than gossip. It's not just about disagreement. It's about power, and power changes everything. Walking away can feel powerful when you believe you're standing in your truth, but returning, that's a completely different challenge. It takes humility, accountability, and real forgiveness on both sides. And at this moment, none of that seems close. Reports suggest David and Victoria Beckham remain open to reconciliation. They're said to still hope for healing, but insiders claim that openness may not stretch across every layer of this complicated situation. Even if Brooklyn woke up tomorrow wanting to reconnect, the path back wouldn't be simple, and it definitely wouldn't be automatic. A lot has been said publicly. Emotions have spilled online. Boundaries have been drawn. Once words are released into the spotlight, they don't just disappear. Every step forward now carries weight. Every conversation would likely come with careful thought and serious consequences. And that's where things get even more uncertain. If Brooklyn had a sudden change of heart, would Nicola fully support rebuilding ties? Would she encourage that reunion or hesitate? And then there's the larger presence in the background. Would Nelson Peltz, the quiet strategist behind the scenes, be comfortable reopening that door? These aren't simple family disagreements anymore. They involve loyalty, influence, and deeply rooted pride. When powerful families collide, reconciliation isn't just emotional, it's strategic. Right now, it feels like the Beckham family exists in two completely separate worlds, different circles, different values, different directions. And unless something shifts dramatically, that distance may only grow wider. One side moving forward together, united, polished, and unshaken. The other standing apart, proud, firm, but increasingly isolated. Brooklyn says he has zero regrets and stands solid in his decision. Meanwhile, David and Victoria reportedly say they'll wait as long as it takes, no matter how long the silence stretches. And through all of it, Nicola Peltz remains the constant, steady, central, and completely unmoved. Whether she's fiercely protecting her marriage or quietly guiding the narrative behind the scenes depends on who you ask. Supporters call her loyal, critics call her strategic. But one fact is clear. Brooklyn Beckham's life has shifted in a major way. The line between the world he walked away from and the one he now lives in feels sharper than ever. And reversing that kind of split, it's never simple. This story goes beyond headlines and wedding drama. It's about power. It's about loyalty. It's about what happens when love collides with legacy and two powerful family systems clash in public view. When pride, influence, and identity all mix together, the fallout doesn't fade quietly. If you want more deep dives and real breakdowns of celebrity power plays like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know where you stand on the Beckham-Peltz situation. Stay locked in because new stories are coming fast. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's next. I'll see you in the next one.